Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this afternoon's candidate forum. We will be hosting two forums this afternoon. The first one will begin right here directly, and that will be the forum for Adams County Sheriff. Following that will be the forum with the Adams County Assessor candidates. Let me introduce myself. I am Cheryl O'Curran, a member of the League of Women Voters Hastings. I will be your moderator this afternoon. Co-sponsors of this afternoon's event are the YWCA of Adams County, the Hastings Area Chamber of Commerce, the Hastings Public Access Channel, and the Hastings Noon Sertoma Club. The Hastings Public Access Channel is recording the forum, so please encourage those friends that you have who couldn't come to watch on, couldn't come here to watch on the HPAC television channel or to watch on the HPAC YouTube channel. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan, grassroots civic organization that encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. The League does not endorse individual candidates or political parties. Membership in the League is open to people 16 years and older of all gender identities. The candidates for this afternoon's forum are the following. First, as I said, we will have the Adams County Sheriff candidates. We have Heath Lemke and Kevin Mock. Beginning at 12:30, following this, we will have the County Assessor candidates, Jake Jarzinka and Angel Murtaugh. Our media panelist is represented by the Hastings Tribune. The format for today. Each candidate will be allowed a 1-minute opening statement. After that, the media will ask a question, and then we will use the audience written questions. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. If a candidate feels that incorrect or misleading information has been stated about them, they may ask for a 30-second rebuttal. There will be no rebuttals of rebuttals. Questions for the candidates will be asked in rotating order. League of Women Voters Hastings members, Judy Sandine and Judy Hall, will be timing this afternoon. They will hold a green card which signals to begin. A yellow card means half of their time is gone, and red will mean to stop after finishing their immediate sentence. Audience, if you would like to participate by asking a question, please raise your hand, and the League of Women Voters members, Phyllis Salyards and Mary Junkard, will bring you a paper and pencil. Please write your question down and raise your hand again so that your question can be picked up. Audience, please keep your questions pertinent to the issues, and we ask that there be no personal attacks. Questions should be for both candidates. Audience members will be monitored. Audience questions, not you guys, but the questions will be monitored by Ginny Skutnik and Belda Junker, and they'll bring me the questions. The forum will conclude with a 1-minute closing statement from each candidate. Please, no applause until the end. With that, let us begin with a 1-minute opening statement from each candidate, and we will begin with candidate Lemke.
I'm Heath Lemke. I'm a candidate for the Adams County Sheriff. Born and raised here in Hastings, attend Hastings Public Schools. Married, and we have 4 children.
Could you have the microphone closer, please?
I started the Sheriff's Office in 1999 as a Corrections Communications Officer, and went to the training officer for that division shortly thereafter. In 2001, I applied for an open deputy slot and was appointed that shortly thereafter. Assigned road patrol and civil process duties. I've worked evenings most of my career. Currently a sergeant and evenings supervisor at the Sheriff's Office. And I've been president of the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 12 since 2015. I appreciate your vote, May 12th.
My name is Kevin Mock. I'm Chief Deputy with the Adams County Sheriff's Office. And I've been in law enforcement for 38 years. The last 35 has been with the Adams County Sheriff's Office. In January of 2019, I was appointed by Sheriff John Russ as Chief Deputy. Over the years, I have worked a variance of duties, 17 years overnights, going into evenings and days, and community policing officer, a firearms instructor, assistant tactical team leader, and everything I've done in the last 7 years has been administrative, overseeing different aspects of the office as appointed to me by Sheriff Rust. Graduated in 1988 with the Law Enforcement Training Center, and have completed the supervisory school and management school for law enforcement through the Nebraska Law Enforcement Training Center. Thank you.
We will now have a question from the media.
All right, gentlemen, I am wondering, I'm Will Brasper with Hastings Tribune. I am wondering about common misconceptions that you guys find in the sheriff's office, and how would you work on addressing that with educating the public in that regard?
We will hear first from candidate Mock.
Will, can you describe or explain misconceptions?
You can hold the microphone.
If there are things, I guess by misconceptions, I mean if there are things that you guys are hearing out in the public that are not true, or things that you think that should be cleared up for folks that are potentially incorrect.
Thinking of any misconceptions there are out there. I can't think of any at this current moment in time.
I guess I would say that there's probably just a lot of misunderstanding or people that aren't aware. They think the sheriff is just the law enforcement officer for the county, and there's kind of quite a bit more duties to it than that. We have twice as many duties as like the police, the local police, or the state patrol, because our primary function is to serve the courts, the enforcement arm of the courts, and I think a lot of people are unaware of that feature. That's why we run the jail, that's why we serve the civil process, which is the middle of the courts, and provide court security and so on and so forth. So I guess maybe just the overall understanding of the role would probably be, I don't know if it's necessarily a misconception, but it's just maybe a lack of public knowledge.
Thank you. One of the questions then from the audience: what does being the sheriff of Adams County mean to you? And again, whoever went second will go first. So.
I think the primary role would be a good leader for the department, maybe develop some leadership within the department, develop future leaders. It's a big task because you got two divisions. You got the corrections and communications, which has a staff of probably pushing 60 by the time you count the cooks and the support staff. And then you got the law enforcement side, or the sheriff's side, with the law enforcement duties that, like I said, are quite extensive. There's been PD officers or so maybe that transferred over to the sheriff's office, and were blown away by how many additional functions and duties are required of the sheriff compared to the local police officer. So just managing all that.
Candidate Lemke, what does Mock, what does being the sheriff of Adams County mean to you?
Being the sheriff is a large responsibility with a lot of liability to oversee the operations, the day-to-day operations of the law enforcement within the county. The sheriff is the highest law enforcement officer by the county because he is appointed by the people, and he's which is different than a police department appointed by the city council. The sheriff is appointed by the people. It's his duty to enforce the laws thereof and the constitutional rights thereof the people, to make sure that they're not being trampled on, and to help educate those to learn that are the younger people, bring them up so someday some of us older guys are going to be gone and the younger guys will be able to take over and complete the tasks needed to keep the integrity of the department.
Thank you. As a reminder, if you do have a question that you've written down, just raise your hand, and we do have individuals who are going to bump around and get them for you. Okay? The next question, also from the audience. What is your opinion on combining some law enforcement services with Hastings Police? For example, dispatch 911.
I understand some of the needs to combine some things. Training is one area that I have spoken with Adam Story on, and combine some training and ideas behind that. As far as 911 system, there's a large dollar amount to combine all that. That would have to go through county commissioners. As a sheriff, or if I was a sheriff, that wouldn't be a sole movement that I could make. It would have to go through the county commissioners and understand all the needs and costs thereof, and it would have to be looked through to see if that would be feasible.
Thank you.
There has been talk about combining that. What we have at the sheriff's office is not actually a 911 center per se. They do ring into the 911 center and then calls are transferred as necessary to us. We do maintain our own dispatcher. I guess I'd have to have somebody explain to me what the efficiency we would gain is. The sheriff has to maintain the warrants in their custody, and so therefore we also have to have somebody to enter them in the NCIC computer and respond to hit requests by other agencies when they run that individual and the warrant pops up. So we have to have somebody available 24/7 to do that function. We're also a 24/7 agency. I mean, we're not sure how you get away with not having somebody there to answer the phone without going to answering service or robo-call type thing. So if you got somebody there to manage the warrants and answer the phone, they might as well be dispatching for it.
Thank you. You'll be going first, so just hang on to that microphone. Next question. How would you work with the courts better so that dangerous people are not released to potentially harm again? Do you need me to repeat that? Sorry, I kind of stumbled.
Our job is to provide the best case for prosecution that we can. And we have to, as long as we ensure we're doing that, we've done our role. It can get very frustrating if you get concentrating on or trying to critique the job of the prosecutor or the role of the judge, which is to ultimately do the sentencing if the person's convicted. So we all have to play our role. Our job is to complete the best investigation, provide the prosecution with the best case possible, and leave it at that, I guess.
Thank you. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. How would you work with the courts better so dangerous people are not released to potentially harm again?
That's difficult. That one's a little bit of a difficult question, in that many times that the bonds that the people have are set by state statute or by the judge themselves. And Sometimes are we disappointed in the amount of bonds that are set? Yes, we are. I won't lie about that. We would like to see, sometimes we'd like to see a higher bond set on people. But with that, we just try to make sure that the judge and our testimony is clear enough to understand that the dangers that these people pose, and try to keep that bond high enough so that they are not released on a lower bond.
Thank you. The next question, you just hang on to that and leave it on. What trainings or classes would you like to see added to the Adams County Deputy trainings or classes?
I believe that training is a very important aspect of law enforcement. I think that we need to move forward with training. There are numerous classes that need to be added or more in depth. We covered 32 hours of training required by statutory law. I would like to see more hands-on aspects of things, but we understand with a limited budget, it is hard sometimes to complete those tasks. As if you have someone in training, then you have to have someone on the road. Sometimes that eats into overtime. So the budgetary items of training is actually one of the hardest things to complete all the tasks thereof. But the training is the one thing that will keep us from civil litigation.
Thank you. Repeat. What trainings or classes would you like to see added to the Adams County Deputy trainings classes?
So, as you may be able to imagine, there's a large number of topics that we can and try and do cover. I think we need to get a lot more hands-on training or practical training as opposed to watching videos and similar type presentations. I think we need to be coordinating with the schools and getting in, during summer break or something, and getting into each one of the schools each summer and maybe doing a active shooter type thing and at least one of them, but get walked through all of them each summer at a minimum.
Thank you. Are you planning on any major changes within the office? This is a two-part question. Okay, and the other part of that question is, what do you see as problems currently?
Well, I don't want to necessarily be critical of the existing administration. I think I have identified some efficiencies, some maybe change in roles. What was the second part?
Are you planning on any major changes within the office? What do you see as problems currently?
Yeah, I've got some plans in pencil, but things change. Even January is 8 months away, so.
Any major changes I would make, I would meet with all the staff. And I'd meet with all the staff and discuss any changes that they have in their ideas of where we'd like to go with moving forward. And oversee what we can do to improve. If there's areas that need improvement, if there's areas where we need to shut down. Could you repeat the second part of that question? Repeat the second part of that question, please.
The second part was, what do you see currently as problems? The other part was, what major changes would you make?
I would say the most current problem right now is the lack of qualified deputies to applying for deputy positions and lack of staff thereof. In today's world, it's hard to get law enforcement there. I believe that some officer burnout would be taken away if we had enough staff to complete all the tasks thereof.
Okay. Both of these are in relation to the new jail. I am going to ask them separately just to give you a chance to answer on just one. The first question would be, are you satisfied with the workings of the new jail? That's the question.
I believe the new jail is working rather well compared to what we used to have. If anybody's ever seen the old jail, the new jail is a lot better, a lot more room for the inmates to move through there, and the staff that we have out there has been doing a phenomenal job of working through that jail.
Thank you. We'll save the second part of that for the second time around. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was some speed bumps getting it going, as could be expected, going from a facility 50-some years old, holds 40 people. The new facility, built by the cheapest bidder, that holds 154-ish, I think. But I think they've got most of those kinks worked out. They've got some real good leadership out there under Mike Dramus, and they're fully staffed. I think there's maybe an expectation to have a little higher occupancy, I guess, I don't know if that's the right word. But I think everything's working well.
Thank you. Kind of related, not kind of, related to that question is a two-parter. Is the county correction facility full? And if it does get full, what do you plan to do for the overflow?
The new jail is not full. It's out there last night. I think the population, pending whoever might have came to join us last night, was like at 56, which I think is about where they've been running in general. I think maybe they've been up in the 60s. The big thing is we don't really have anybody farmed out to another agency, minus one or two that might be the state correctional facility for other reasons, and maybe one that's due to conflict. We're not paying other counties to house our inmates, and we're got a handful usually from other counties that they're paying us to. So.
Okay, thank you. Sure, repeating of the question. Is the county correction facility full? And if it does get full, what is your plan for the overflow?
It is not full. It's a 154-bed facility. If you take the ratio of room and the problems thereof, when you have a number of inmates, if we were up to about 125, that would be about the full as it could actually go without crowding problems. You get people in those areas where there's you start getting in tight quarters, and sometimes tempers run high, and you start having problems when you get to the max fullness. As far as overflow, I was in charge of, when we did house at different locations, I was in charge of that, and there was times that we'd have anywhere from 30 up to about 57, 60 inmates housed at other locations. One of the things about it is, as we moved people out of all those locations, those places became open. So other counties started going to those locations to house. That is one of the difficulties that we're having right now of getting inmates into ours to fill it out.
Thank you. We will have time for one more question, a minute each on response, and then your closing arguments, your closing statements. So your final question is, how can we better address the mental health problems in the corrections system?
That one? Okay.
You get that one.
All right. The mental health system in the state, overall, is a difficult thing. Sometimes we're ordered by the court to house an inmate. They're not mentally stable to stand trial, so we house them until there's a bed ready for them in the Lincoln Regional Center. Sometimes they're waiting 2 and 3 months in our jail for that bed to open up because of overcrowding at the Lincoln Regional Center, and we're having them stay in our jail, and the mental health part of that is just hard on them. We do have services that come in. I think those could be improved. I think statutorily, the legislation is going to have to look in the near future of our mental health system in the state and able to address that.
Thank you. Candidate Lincoln?
Yeah, so they have mental health professionals that come in on a regular basis and meet with either inmates that have requested to see somebody or ones that staff suggest meet with them. The biggest problem is we have a big gap in the whole mental health services. When they went to community-based treatment and closed the regional centers, you have individuals that maybe need more help than what community-based treatment can give them, but they don't necessarily qualify for the extreme level of the one regional center that we do have. And oftentimes these people aren't necessarily criminals, just their mental health state causes some law violations. And then, you struggle with them. If you put them on 7th floor, they don't necessarily belong there too either.
Thank you. Now we will conclude this piece of the forum with 1-minute statements. And yes, we are going to switch it, go opposite, since Candidate Lemke did his opening statement first. You will get 1 minute now for your closing statement.
Well, I would just appreciate your vote. Make sure you get out and vote May 12th. And I believe with my 38 years of law enforcement experience that I could serve the people well. And I'd like to continue to serve the people well in Adams County and keep the integrity of our department that I believe is there from Sheriff Rust and prior retired Sheriff Greg McGee. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think I have the support of the department, displayed by them electing me president of their FRP for over a decade. It's further solidified with their recent endorsement. I think our biggest challenge is recruitment and retention of staff. And I think over the long term, I think I can help fix that. And so I appreciate your vote on May 12th.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the candidates for Adams County Sheriff. You can give them your applause at this time. And then as we shift to our next forum, we'll take just a few minutes. If you need to stand up, take a quick stretch break as we rearrange things here. Thank you, candidates, for your time. Restrooms. County Assessor Candidate Forum. Introduction of the candidates. We have candidate Jake Jarzinka and then Angel Murtaugh. And the forum will follow exactly the same. So we will begin with a 1-minute opening statement from each candidate, and we will go in alphabetical order. And for those of you who can follow that ABC thing, we're going to start with the candidate Jarzinka.
Hello, my name is Jake Jarzinka, running for County Assessor. Lived my entire life here in Hastings and spent a lot of years out in the farming community with my dad was a parts manager at John Deere, so I got to know all the farmers that way. But my background, I have 12 years in construction field, learned how to properly build and value homes that way, and doing everything from swinging a hammer, designing and engineering structural components, and then doing sales. Look forward to helping serve Adams County and help improve quality of life here.
And you can just leave that microphone on as you pass it back and forth, just so you know. Thank you. And this is candidate Murtaugh.
Hi, my name is Angel Mertell. I am currently serving as the Adams County Assessor right now. I was brought to Adams County by the commissioners, appointed to Adams County by the commissioners based on my experience in assessment and the experience I have on the software that we are transitioning to. And I feel that I chose to come here to Adams County to serve you guys and made a choice to do that. Again, I have had my own business since 1992. My business was in construction also, but a different type, welded sculpture. And so I have structural engineering backgrounds and how to make structures safe and sound. I've managed multiple accounts and have always met a deadline. I thank you and I hope for your support.
Thank you. We will now continue in the questioning. So whoever went last will go first. We will now have a question from the media.
All right. What are some of the common misconceptions that you hear about the county assessor's office, and how would you work on educating the public to remedy those?
The main misconception that I hear all the time is that the assessor sets the taxes on your property taxes. That is not our job. Our job is to set the value. The taxes are found by the levies, which is budgeted through your county governments, the schools, fire departments, and their budgets are what sets the rate of the levy. We take the value times the levy, and that is how you get your taxes. And we do not collect your money here in the assessor's office. The treasurer's office does. Just to point that out, we do not take your money here. Thank you.
Candidate Jarzinka, do you need the question repeated?
Yes, please.
All right. With the what are some of the common misconceptions you hear about the county assessor's office, and how would you work to educate the public about that?
As Ms. Murtaugh pointed out, the biggest misconception is when we send the evaluation letters out, people just assume their taxes are going up. And once again, as she said, the levies are set by all your entities, your schools, your fire department, police department, all law enforcement, your city governments, your village governments, county governments. They all set the money they need, so they set the levies that way. One of the big things that I want people to come in and we can show them the process of how we do things. I would love to sit down and teach people exactly how we go about valuing things so that they can better understand when they get those changes in that letter. They can understand it and hopefully not be as upset as some people get.
I'd like to remind the audience that if you have a question that you would like to have asked, raise your hand. You'll get a paper and a pencil, and someone will pick up your question and bring it this direction. So we do have a question, and Candidate Jarzinka, you'll go first. What makes a property out of compliance? And can you give any examples?
So we go through, according to state statutes, we have all of our neighborhoods set up, and we have those put into certain year slots. Those go on a 6-year review. There's some counties that go, above and beyond to a 4-year cycle. We have a little too many to do that, so every 6 years we go through and we review certain neighborhoods throughout the county, whether that be Lockland, whether that be the rural res, whether that be Oswego. Just depends on what year it is. And if we do not get that done within the year, then that can be out of compliance. We are currently within compliance on all that, though.
Do you need the question repeated?
Sure, I'll take it again.
Okay.
Thank you.
You always ask that, it'll always be the same question. So, what makes a property out of compliance, and do you have any examples?
Well, Jake gave it a great example. We do have our 6-year reviews, and we have to stay in compliance with that and reviewing the property. If we fall behind, we do need to make arrangements with the state tax commissioner to help us get back online. And with the dedication of my team, we were able to get back online. We were out of compliance when I stepped into the role, but as of March 19th, we are on compliance and ready to go ahead. And so it's the dedication of my team and just some leadership that took place to make that happen. Thank you.
Okay, next question. What does the county assessor office need to function well, such as training, staff, or office space or location?
We have a very young office right now, currently in the assessor's office here in Adams County. Our clerks have a lot of years behind them, and that helps in their jobs. There are many different facets within the assessor's office. It's not just appraisal. Our appraisal staff is pretty green, and one thing that would be great is if I had it in my budget to send all of my appraisal class workers to classes to get educated and how all the different types of approaches to appraisal are used. The state of Nebraska uses sales market rate for their appraisals, so just having more knowledge and having the funds to send more people that are willing to go. Thank you.
Repeat.
What does the county assessor office need to function well, such as training, staff, or office space or location?
Well, the office just moved to a new location, I believe 3 years ago, maybe 4. Very great facility, lots of space, easy to do things, get a lot of work done in there. Right now, the biggest thing is getting people into education. Whether that's be just a small little online course that they can do, or sending them to a class somewhere. Finding somewhere within the budget to do that. I mean, we're at the mercy of the board on how much money we get every year. So if somebody wants to help convince them to give us more money, that'd be wonderful. But that should, just giving the education and should cover it. Our facilities are already great, and we're very well suited in there.
Thank you. What changes property valuations?
The biggest things that affect your property valuation is the condition and qualities, and also depreciation. You can have a house built in 2025 is going to have no depreciation compared to a house built in 1905. There's a lot of depreciation goes into factor there. As far as quality, we're going to look at all the building materials that are involved in that. The building materials back in 1920 were a lot higher quality than the building materials now. I've seen all of that. I've worked with every single different kind of 2x4 and 2x6. And then when it comes to condition, we're going to look, have they done normal maintenance to the house? Or has it fallen into disrepair? Have they gone above and beyond on their maintenance and made it better than what it should be compared to other houses of the same type?
What changes property valuations?
I'm going to just say my appraiser here did a wonderful job explaining that, because that is exactly what you need to know. So he's well educated in that, and it is great to have somebody who has the knowledge and can express it to you here. Another thing that maybe would change the value is if somebody bought the property low and flipped it and updated all the inside on the inside, you know, just that changes the quality of the house on the inside, but it doesn't necessarily change anything else on it. And again, my Jake here gave it, I couldn't have said it any different than he did, so I'm just gonna say he did a great job explaining that.
Thank you. What steps would you take to make the assessment process more transparent?
I am currently working on a brochure to put at my counter in my office. And the brochure, I have sat with my appraiser, sit down and make sure that I had Adams County's processes correct and not just basing it on my experience from Washington County. But I am making a brochure that will be available to the public on the counter that actually says everything that the assessor's office does and how to go about protesting your value when June comes and the steps that are needed. That is something I was working on before I came here today, and hopefully it'll be done and on my counter soon, and you're more than welcome to come pick one up.
Question repeated. What steps would you take to make the assessment process more transparent?
Right now, you can go on our website and there is a link to show what the role is that the assessor does and how we operate things in the office. But I would welcome anyone to come in and we can easily walk through. I mean, if you really, really want to spend some time and have some fun, we can go out and I can walk through an appraisal process going out in the field with you. We can go to your house. Whether you want me in there or not, that's your choice. But as far as transparency, being open and honest with everybody, everybody in the office is pretty good at, you know, when somebody comes in, they use clear verbiage to explain things, and people usually come out with a better understanding of how we're doing things.
Thank you. As a follow-up to that question, would you entertain the idea of a town hall meeting to educate people on the valuation of their property? This town hall meeting would occur after June 1st, after people get their valuation statements.
I would love to do that. That would be a lot of fun. There might be a lot of angry people. I've dealt with that in the past though. Most people, when they're angry and they come up walking to me, I don't know if it's the fact that I'm twice the size of a normal person or if they just like my smile, they usually calm down really quick. But I would love to have just a little sit down and talk with people, a little town hall, maybe once a quarter. And just that way, if questions come up throughout the year, they can come in and talk to us.
Okay, repeat. So a follow-up to that previous question, would you entertain the idea of a town hall meeting to educate people on the valuation of their property? This town hall would occur after June 1st, after people get their valuation statements.
There is something set up like that already. You get a pink postcard with your valuation notices that tell you the values of your home. And there are meeting dates that you can go and discuss with the entities that actually set the property taxes on there. That is already in place. But as Jake said, I'm open to having quarterly things or any type of things. I've reached out to the little villages and asked to be on their agenda so that I could go over how the process goes. And I'm completely open to transparency. I would love to take Jake with me. He's very intimidating to these people. I'm sorry, I'm just a little person. But I'm just here to serve you guys. I chose to come, I chose to serve you guys, and that's
Thank
what
you.
I'm gonna do.
This kind of follows up to a previous question. How is it possible for a property to double in value within 1 year when there has been no substantial work or improvements completed on the property?
Boy, that's a good question, and the answer is complicated. So I'm going to take a moment and try to explain it to you. So the state of Nebraska is done on a sales market value, and so the state takes the last 2 to 3 years worth of sales in our area, and they do a median range on where the state wants us to be. They actually pull the strings on telling us what area needs to go up and what area needs to go down. It's my job as the assessor to make sure that I am equalized across the board. So if the state comes in and says Juniata needs to go up 12%, I have to find out why, and I have to make sure that that area is not over the guidelines.
Thank you. Sure. How is it possible for a property to double in value within 1 year when there has been no substantial work or improvements completed on the property?
So we do market study values on all, or market studies on everything, and we do get reports back on the sales studies. So if you are noticing in your neighborhood, you probably see houses selling for a lot more than what you bought your house for in that same neighborhood. Big thing is we have to keep up with that sales thing because the state requires us on a residential level to be within, at a minimum 93% of that market value. So we have to make those adjustments. And if something was adjusted on that property, whether it was correct or not, at one point, when you do a market adjustment, then those ones that got those small adjustments here and there, all of a sudden just jump. And that's where, if you could bring that to our attention, we can look over, make sure all the data is correct, and get that fixed for you.
Thank you. We will now conclude with a 1-minute closing statement from each candidate. And since candidate Jerzinka went first on the opening, candidate Bertal will go first.
Are there no more questions?
We have no more questions.
Okay. Bill, did you have another question that you would like to use?
Not particularly. I guess I would just ask if there's anything else you'd like voters to know about you or your campaign.
Well, this first time I've ever been doing politics. It's been a fun learning curve. I've had a lot of fun doing this, meeting a lot of great people. I've been doing everything out of my own pockets because as soon as you spend so much money, you have to report all this stuff. I've had people offer me money and I've had to tell them no because I don't want to be involved in any of that. So it's been fun that way. I do have a wife and 2 boys they'll be 3 in May actually, 2 days before the election. So they're twins, and so, paying $500 for 50 signs was kind of a big deal. That's a week of daycare, so that was fun. So if anybody wants to donate to daycare, I'll take that.
I'll take donations to adult daycare. Sorry. Again, I'm in the same boat. I've never had to run for a campaign before, so this is all new and learning, and it did take me by surprise that I was appointed and then the same year I would have to run. And so that I moved, I sold my house, I sold everything, and I moved here to serve the people here, and now I'm running against here. Jake here. All I'd like to say is this position, even though it's an elected, you do need to have some experience doing it to run the position correctly. I do have 7+ years of experience running and with maintaining large amounts of budgets. And I think my leadership skills from being a manager before and maintaining a budget would help in this position. Thank you.
Thank you. Closing statements now, okay, so, and you would, yes.
Yes.
Candidate Murtaugh, you will give the first closing statement. These will be 1 minute.
Again, I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to be here today. I do take my job very seriously. I have gone out into the community to learn different things that the community offers, so that like if somebody who comes in with homestead gets audited and now is facing a large payment that they didn't expect, I can now supply them with some resources to go help them make that payment so that they aren't stressed and stuff. Again, I'm here to serve the people, and my experience will help in this position, and I would really appreciate your vote and your support on May 12th. Thank you for your time.
First of all, I want to thank Cheryl and I want to thank the league for putting this on. It's been a lot of fun. I love doing these things, getting to meet people, see everybody's faces. I want to thank people for any support they want to give me. Go out and vote May 12th. Big thing is I want to just emphasize on educating the people on how we do things properly. And I want to emphasize on how fair and accurate assessments lead to predictable bills, which allows both families and businesses to budget properly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates. Is it a question?
No, I would just like, this is not a political thing. There's a number of people here, and I know one of the candidates, so I would like just one of them, because it's the same answer. But please explain to the people what a homestead is.
I think that would have been written on that part of our forum, I feel like, is over. And so you can visit with the candidates afterwards if you have that opportunity. We'd like to thank the candidates, the media, and the sponsors, and of course the audience. Please take a paper for the upcoming forums. The next forum will be here at the YWCA on Tuesday, April 14th, which is just this next coming Tuesday. We will have Hastings City Council forums for at 7 o'clock Ward 1, at 7:30 Ward 3, and at 8 o'clock Ward 4, and each of those have several candidates. The upcoming League of Women Voters Hastings voter registration events will be on Tuesday, September 17th that's a ways away, I didn't read that ahead, right? September 17th at the Hastings Library from noon to 10 to noon on Monday, and then it'll be in September. There will be more information on that as we get closer. The tail end of this is wrong, and I did not preview this, and that is totally on me. But definitely register, get out, and vote. We have primaries in May. Thank you.